And we're live. Hey everyone.
How's it going?
All
Hey
right,
guys.
so we're waiting on Gerald, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. How's everyone doing? Oh, there's Gerald. Perfect timing.
What up?
What's up, dude?
Chat
What
here.
up?
What up? Excuse my lateness. Coming from bowling. Few drinks
Definitely
mentioned
late,
today.
right?
Yeah, it's definitely delayed.
All right, we're live, Gerald. You good? All right. So I'm just gonna jump around, say hey to everyone, and have them introduce ourselves. So let's start with Rodman. Kick us off, man. Tell us about yourself.
Hey guys. Well, like you guys know, my name is Rodman Martinez. I am from Honduras, international collector. I mostly collect MJ. I also like 50 greatest autos, and I started off when I was a kid and came back around 2013. Got a call from my mom, basically letting me know that she found my cards and what was she doing with them, and basically I went back home and haven't stopped since then. So yeah.
It's addicting.
All right, Gary. Jumped in, so go ahead.
I'm Gary Nelson. My name on Facebook is Gary Vincent. That's just my middle name. I've been collecting Jordan specifically since I was 5 years old. I've really never collected anyone else. Don't really have any ambition to jump outside of that. I did once with Derrick Rose, and that bit me in the ass. So I'm never straying again. Yeah, I opened up the new Jordan group on Facebook, the Raz group. It's been doing pretty well. I got back into collecting about 5 years ago, and most of my buying days were from 2008 to 2011, which is why I got caught up with Derrick Rose. That's about it.
All right, Neaton, why don't you kick us off now?
Yeah, my name is Neaton Patel. On Instagram, it's Neaton for Days. On Blowout, it is B-ball cards for days, and then on Facebook, obviously, just me. Um, I started collecting when I was a kid, back in the early '90s. Uh, really started picking up collecting around, let's say, like 93, 94, 94, 95, and then continued collecting till 2001. I was going from my junior year in high school to my senior year in high school, and kind of lost interest in collecting at that time, just due to the fact that I could now be a teen with a car and go out and do shit. So kind of stopped there for a while. Then fortunately for me, I started back up on things in early 2015. Randomly popped into a card shop in St. Louis. Happens to be RBI Crew 7, and I'll walk in and they asked me how I was doing and what I was looking for, and I said Jordans. And from there on, it just grew by the minute, by the day. I sold off a lot of my 90s PC and got into autos. And that's about it.
Great, thanks. All right, Gerald.
My name is Gerald Fortier from Chicago, aka Windy City Sports Cards on Instagram. But yeah, growing up in Chicago, I always, levitated towards Jordan, and even when I was a little kid, I always collected Jordan, but didn't know what I was doing. And then after high school and thinking cards weren't cool anymore and everything else, and moving on to to bigger and better things as I thought. Got back into cards about probably 2006 after my father passed away, and just stumbled upon it on eBay one day and was buying base cards to inserts to whatever I could find, 100-card lots for $20. It didn't matter. Whatever I could find, I was buying it. But yeah, then I just saw the autos and patches and fell in love with it, and haven't looked back since then. Whenever I could sell a non-Jordan card and pay for a Jordan card, that's all I've been doing lately. And since then, since 06 for the most part.
Nice. You guys have all been pretty consistent with your collecting, I think, from what I've gathered.
I hear a lot of people say that they quit collecting right around high school because it's just not a cool thing to really do when you're around that age. I did the same thing. I wish I would have kept going, man.
Oh, yeah.
I would have kept buying through high school in my early 20s.
We all feel that way. I left, I think it was 98, right around the second time MJ retired. And I basically missed all the 2000s Exquisite and all that. Actually, when I came back, I didn't even know there were autographs. And I didn't even know there were patches and all of that. And I slowly started studying, and that's when I got into Blowout and started reading a lot, and started talking with other collectors and getting into short prints, parallels, and all that. And I focused mostly on inserts, and because that's what it makes it for me, right? Because when I was a kid, I used to collect. Even when I was collecting back in the 90s, it's not like there was a card shop here in Honduras. There was just like this local shop where they used to bring a lot of American products, right? So my mom would go every weekend to do shopping, and I would go with her. And I found these packs, and basically I would just hope for a Jordan, and even it was just base cards for me. If you see my binder, I mean, they're all base cards. I never pulled an insert, and that's what made me happy back then. And that's why I'm mostly a 90s guy, right? I'm mostly into inserts. I mean, I love and respect Exquisite for what it is. But for me, it's inserts, definitely.
Cool. I'm going to start with one question real quick, and we'll just go around. I want everyone to react to the Jordan PMG Green. So, Neaton, why don't you start? Just tell us what you thought of the sale, how it ended with Nat getting it, just anything about that sale.
Yeah, so obviously it's record-breaking. Say the least. Was. It was pretty iconic to, for that card to come up when it did. Obviously, Nat's been looking for one for several years now, and it's going to look great in his collection. I think he's down to like 7 or 8 cards left for the PMG set.
9
or 9.
Yeah,
that's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's amazing to see where things are going with cards, especially monetary value wise. There's a lot of influence from investors rather than collectors, and it's driving prices. For me, that sucks because I collect, and like all of last year, I think I added 3 cards to my PC. I've yet to add a card to my PC this year, but we'll make that
Encore
change here soon. The Encore was last year. It was my last purchase of last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Gerald, what do you think about the prices going up so much? I know you got a lot of Exquisite stuff. Like, what are your thoughts on just like the price increases, and how is it affecting your collection?
I mean, if you would have asked me last year if I would have thought Exquisite 0304 auto patch out of 100 9.5 was gonna sell for 35,000, I would have said you're crazy. But it's definitely made me second guess as to how long I can hold some of these cards, as to what the price points I have in them, like I got my 0304 limited logos I paid 10,000 for, and I graded it myself, now it's a $60,000 card, $70,000 card easily, going by with the BGS 9 and so forth. So it's kind of tough to hold a card like that, but
So are you using that stuff?
I love it so much. It's like I pull it out of the box and it's like, no, I can't sell it, put it right back in.
Are you looking to use that stuff to leverage trades and other stuff, or are you thinking like just sell and cash out some stuff?
I mean, like as of right now, I have my that 101 tag available. I wouldn't mind trading into other, smaller Jordan stuff or any nice basketball that I see. I always try to, when I get into something that is a nice value and it appreciated so much, get out at the right time or find someone to trade me some nice stuff.
Yeah. All right, Gary, what'd you think of the green, and then talk about your current strategy?
It went a little bit higher than I expected, but I think it's great for the hobby. I don't mind the price increases too much. I mean, it's stuff that my goal is one of everything 90s. I'm not buying or keeping anything from 2000 or later. So when that went for 350, and then you start to see the trickle effect on other stuff like the red that just sold and even the base card. I even seen some real low numbered stuff like EX, what is it, out of 72 sold as soon as the green PMG sold. Yeah, the credentials, they've jumped up in price a lot. I think it's great. I like the concept that investors are getting into it because I think it lends us more credibility to the industry. For a long time, we've kind of been, I don't want to say a joke, but I mean, our mothers, our girlfriends, our wives, whatever, they look at it, they don't take it very seriously. But when you show them, hey, I bought this card 10 years ago for $500 and it just sold yesterday for $6,000. I mean, they're gonna stop cracking jokes. They're gonna take it more seriously. They're gonna give us more room to be able to make our purchases without guilt and stuff. I think it'll just become more mainstream as far as investing is concerned, all based on that green PMG sale. So that was great. I mean, obviously the cards I still need, I don't want them to jump too fast, but it's just part of the industry, part of the hobby.
What do you think, Rodman? What are you going after?
And demand at this point with Jordan.
Yeah, for sure. No more autos being made, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, in Haynes there are.
only 10. Only 10.
How much do you think one of those autos will sell for? That's what I want to know. When one of those up 10 hits the market.
Autos in there?
Yeah, there's 10.
Yes, there's only 10, and it's like,
saw the base cards.
Oh, it's crazy odds too.
Some Haynes.
It's like several 100,000 packs per auto. So it's absolutely ridiculous.
People stealing the packs out of the underwear.
Oh, for sure. People opening it up and then returning the underwear, the shirts, or whatever. I'm sure it's going to happen.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, somebody said there's a $500 finder's fee. That's the finder's fee. So I mean, it's a dumb sticker auto, I believe, but I think it's going to really carry some weight.
It's pretty dumb looking. I agree. Rodman, why don't you start telling us about what you're after right now and how you're approaching all these price increases?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the green PMG topic. I think definitely there's going to be like a before and after this record-breaking sale. I also believe that you hear more and more about the word investment, right? When in this hobby, and I think that's something to consider, obviously, because like Gary said, this is turning into an investment vehicle. and more people are coming in and looking at as an investment and as an alternative investment. Like PWCC said, this is basically a tangible asset now, and when you see sales going north of 350K, this is investment. I mean, I don't think it should be taken lightly. It is, like Gary said, it's shifting towards that, and more and more people are looking into it as a investment and are considering like part of your portfolio. And so I think that's good for the hobby. And like Gary said, maybe one day our moms and wives will see it that way too. Yeah.
My biggest fear is if I die, my family will sell my collection for what I told them I paid for it.
I think
You
about
should
that
leave a note and make sure that just write a note and just put the word PWCC.
Yep.
That's it, man.
Yep.
Send here.
Individual sales. Send every one of them individually, not as a lot. Start at 99 cents. You'll get what you want.
We should just introduce our wives to
Don't
Brent.
sell for under this amount.
Yeah.
Hey, Brent, this is my wife. If I die, please reach out to her.
For sure.
I want to talk to Neaton about the whole like investing thing. I know you're kind of on the other side of the fence. Why don't you give us your side?
I mean, it's the only reason why it's becoming investor sought out is because people are now realizing the scarcity of these cards. It's literally like having an art piece that few copies were ever produced, and there is an end collector or an end person willing to put substantial value on it, and with that person wanting it that badly, he's ultimately driving the prices. And not to say it's a bad thing or a good thing, it's just it makes it more difficult for people that have similar tastes to come back into the hobby and also progress as a collector, because let's be real, 3-4 years ago you could go off on eBay and buy a handful of cards for $1,000, let's say. Nowadays, with the grading and everything, that same card that you could have picked up 3-4 years ago for $100 has appreciated to $1,000. And a lot of it's being influenced by people like ourselves that are coming back into the hobby after a long gap out, and we're now having the funds and capability to purchase these cards or go out in public and search for these cards. So yeah, I mean, it's just like when classic cars started driving up in value, people were going to barns finding $1 million cars sitting in the barn, middle of nowhere.
I think this is a perfect example is the muscle car era, because the baby boomers finally got to 40 years old and they bought their childhood. That's what the baby boomers wanted. They were all about the muscle cars. And then you've seen a Chevelle go from a $15,000 car to a $60,000 car. And we're doing the same thing. Our generation, right around people that are 30 to 40 years old right now, finally starting to get the disposable income, and we're buying our childhood. This is what I wanted when I was a kid, so now I can get it. And there's just not enough of these cards, especially the rare ones, to go around for all the people that loved Michael Jordan and loved buying cards. So every day there's a new collector in the Jordan hobby, and it's just supply and demand. There's just never gonna be enough supply. I think the prices are most likely going to go up almost inevitably. I mean, there's going to be fluctuations, but I don't think we'll ever go back to 2-3 years ago even prices. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there with the, you know, the people catching up to like when we grew up watching when we have the expendable money to spend on the cards and pick up the ones that we want. I see that happening more than ever than in investments. Like I see investments being a little part of it, but more of the people that watch Jordan and wanted to collect when they were younger and couldn't and now have the money to spend.
Investors are those people, and they just didn't realize that there was money to be made in that. There's so many people that, I mean, you got to think 24,000 people fit in the United Center. How many people seen Jordan play in the 90s in person? 24,000 people, multiply that times 82 games plus playoffs. Anybody that's seen him in person should be interested in his items, his cards, his memorabilia, whatever. And I mean, we've only got a couple thousand people in the groups on Facebook. Like the amount of people that don't know about this industry but would be interested, I think that there's a lot of them.
Huge.
Jordan went through the whole world. There isn't a bigger sports athlete in the history of time in any sport that went across the world the way that Jordan did, and he did it before the internet. So I think we're in the beginning stages, to say it in an odd way.
Before we got on the call, Gary, you said that you just been getting hit up left and right by different people. Is that you think that just so many people are coming into the hobby with a ton of interest, and you're just seeing a lot of growth? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I actually get to see, because I admin the group, how many people join a day, how often they're posting. So when I see new people joining and they're posting constantly, a lot of those people are constantly messaging me, hey, you know, would this be a good purchase for this price? Would this be a good trade for this card? And I love answering questions like that. This is my hobby. This is what I enjoy. So, I mean, I never turn anybody away, but it is, I probably get 10 to 20 people a day message me on Facebook for questions on price points and advice, and I'll keep giving it out.
I've also
go ahead.
I've also seen a lot of collectors shifting or gaining interest in the MJ market. I've been approached on several platforms as well, asking for prices and top 10 cards. And I see a lot of people from baseball, hockey, and all, I mean, that are in the hobby and have been in for a long time in the hobby. And they're turning into MJ and like Gary said, I mean, MJ has a strong appeal across the board, and I think that transcends other sports into other sports, and even other players like yourself, Joshua. I know you've been very interested in the MJ market now.
Just a little bit.
LeBron will be mad.
Just a little bit.
I put this group together, didn't I? This is just a front for me to buy all your cards. Yeah, for sure, man. Let's dive into like the different types of Jordan cards. Why don't you start us off, Gerald, with Exquisite, and just tell us like why you like the Exquisite stuff so much, like what it is about Exquisite, maybe like your history with it, anything you want to talk about Exquisite.
Well, like I said earlier, for me, it was always autos and the patches and the game use stuff. Like inserts really wasn't never my thing. And I mean, from day one, Exquisite was always top dog when I got into it. So if you could land in a nice Exquisite, you landed a nice Exquisite and try to hold on to it as long as possible. And that's all I've been trying to do these last 3-4 years. Any Exquisite I could get, I hold on to. And if I do sell one, it's either to upgrade to a new one or just because I had to. Life called for it.
Do you feel like you focus on Exquisite because it's almost impossible to kind of get everything and you can kind of like specialize in that stuff?
I mean, there's actually enough out there. It's just again, it boils down to supply and demand. When there's not a lot of supply out there, if you make one or two rare cards available, you're cornering the market right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's there's a lot out there.
Yeah, Neaton, what do you focus on right now? Like, I know you've kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything, but what catches your interest the most right now?
Just a lot of cards that I can relate to with growing up, and the fact that I never had the opportunity to own them then. It's like I'm getting it now, but it's just costing me a lot more.
We can all relate on that.
Yeah, tell us about
one of the pieces that I would really love to add. I've been looking for one of these for quite some time now. It's a UD3 ticket auto, and I just love that card. I mean, it has like the whole autograph part to it, and then it looks like an insert, and
The
that was
refractor look.
Yeah, and it was a redemption, so it makes it even more difficult to actually find one that has a good auto that's in decent condition, and that's one card that I really want. But yeah, I mean, some of those early Jordans are nice. I'd love to be able to pick up a nice triple, of the two goats and that dude that can't make the playoffs. But
Oh, snap.
No, I'm just messing. No, like it's interesting to see how how Jordan basically paved the way for your modern day athlete. It's safe to say that Jordan is an iconic name and brand across the world. You don't even need to say Michael Jordan. It's just Jordan, and everybody knows who you're talking about, whether it be from his time playing in the NBA or his brand as a businessman, as apparel. I know he does other things as well, but I would say those are his two biggest influences. But yeah, it's amazing to see how he has revolutionized the industry for all these athletes, current athletes and future athletes.
For sure. Hey, Rodman, hit us with an insert. Someone show a freaking card. Just hit us with an.
So this is Hoop Bams.
Can you see
one
that?
of my favorite.
Sorry, one at a time, Neaton. I'll come back around.
Sure. Supposed to keep talking, right? To make sure the camera doesn't switch. So this is Bams, Hoops Bams. This is numbered out of 250. It's very condition sensitive. This one got at 7.5. But let me show you. This is basically my favorite insert. Noise Boys. Latin portraits.
I want to talk so bad.
Molten Metal. Another iconic 90s Hot Shots. The Cut Above.
So why do you like the inserts? What's it about inserts that you like?
Card porn.
Well, I like the designs. I think they put a lot of effort in the 90s regarding to designs. These were, I would say, very ahead of their time regarding to design and the effort put in the cards. They're shiny, they're flashy. What's not to like?
And what's the one card you're after right now? People want to know what you guys are after.
At this point, I'm being very selective. I'm basically going towards low numbered serial cards, PMGs, rubies, and all that. Those are getting harder to get. So and to find. And if you find someone willing to sell, I mean, you're gonna have to pay up. And so that's why I've been patiently waiting. And definitely the market after the green. I mean, everyone's expecting their cards to be worth more. So if it was hard before, after the green PMGs, I mean, it's not getting easier.
Nope.
Hit us with some cards, Gary, and tell us what you're after.
So first, I want to explain. When I bought a majority of my collection, I had no idea what I was buying. I just literally clicked auction, and if it had bids on it, I was going to bid on it. And I did that for 2 years, not knowing what I was buying. And then I threw all my cards in a closet. And 5 years later, when I took them out, I had 19 Jordan autos, and then some inserts and some 2000s era stuff. And I transferred almost all 16 of the 19 autos I traded or sold for 90s inserts. So I'm all about 90s inserts too. I wish I could afford the 90s autos. Can't do it. As far as my favorites, 90s inserts, I think TakeIt2.net is probably my favorite. I think I paid $200 for this years and years ago, and it gemmed, so I can't be happier about that. When I came back, I realized I had 3 of the titanium. I must have really liked that card. I think just based on appearance, this might be my actual favorite, the titanium. And then recent pickup that would be up there in my favorites is the T9B Illuminator, front and back refractor. Just a big fan of the triumvirate set. But I think if I sold all the cards in my PC and held on to one card because I had to, it would be the 1988 Clear All-Star. I had 60 copies of this card at a point in time, and almost 100 of the 88 base card. And I was really hoping that those were going to jump in price, but they didn't very much. So now I'm slowly but surely almost out of autos, out of almost all my 2000s era stuff, and but I'm getting very complete with my 90s collection overall. I even try to pick up all the little stuff, all the subsets, parallels, all the strange cards that are like a 30 card set, but they're numbered to 230 or they're numbered to 2300. I gotta have all of them. So I put all those in binders. I've just got binders of like sets. I don't think I'll ever grade any of the, even the low numbered, like out of 100 stuff. If it's a set, I can't have some raw and some graded. Like they have to all be graded, or they have to all be raw. It bothers me. So I grade all my inserts pretty much, and then keep all the set stuff raw. Right now, what I'm after, Warp Zone. It's not the most expensive, but it has eluded me for years. Wait, right? Warp Zone? I have it on my phone here. Yeah, Warp Zone. I always confuse that with something else. But I also got into the members only stuff a lot. I finally finished the complete members only set from the 90s. That and the refractors were my first things that I was really chasing. There's 58 refractors in the 90s for Jordans, and I'm 10 short. I got 48 of them. So now it's most of the expensive ones, so they're coming slower for sure.
Yeah. Like Neaton said, we're buying like 2 a year, right?
Yep.
Neaton, you have a side conversation going. Why don't you chime in?
I was just talking about my trip.
Oh no, I'm talking about your. It looks like you were talking about like being able to afford stuff and putting your family into debt.
So yeah, Tristan, which he should definitely been in this little group conversation. For the people that don't know him, he arguably has one of the craziest autograph collections there is. And that's from not just Jordan, but Kobe, LeBron. I know he has a lot of Logo Man autos, and it's just unreal the quality of cards that he has. Not just the quantity, just the quality of them. And he said, "When is a price too much?" Um, I don't think you can consider a price too much if there's somebody out there willing to pay it. Um, Not everybody makes the same income, and I know if I'm not willing to pay up for a once in a lifetime piece, somebody's going to be ready to pay that. Um, and if it's one of those cards that you'll never see again, um, is it considered too much? I don't think so. If you're not personally putting yourself into debt or your family into debt, I think the sky's the limit. Um, if the housing market, if the car market, like an introductory car now costs 20 to 30 grand, and it's like back in the day you could get like a car for like 20, but everything has inflated, and I think with everything continue to inflate, so are cards.
Hit us with some
cards.
Hit us with some cards, dude.
I don't know. I have some stuff here. Some of it's at the bank.
Just
See this guy I picked up last year. I got it raw, and I was really excited to see that grade when it came back. I'm not sure if you guys can see it all that well. There's quite a bit of glare. It's one of my favorite 90s cards. I think this right here was like a takeoff for me, especially the Kobe. Like when I saw the Kobe Gold for the first time, it was mind-boggling because cards prior to that there were refractors, but there were no like atomic refractor style refractors. So it really paved the way for a whole new era of cards. This may not be my most valued card, but I think it's right there with my favorite card. Just because, how many people can go off and say they located one of these for one, or tracked it down and purchased it. It's one of the best moves I made for sure. I picked it up. I think it's been about 2 years now. But yeah, I love this card. I love this set. This is the gold version of that. There's a lot of players that have a silver and bronze at a 75 and 200, but Jordan does not. And then that's an iconic 90s Jordan auto right there.
That one's nasty.
Amazing.
beautiful.
And then I'll show you my favorite. It's, like I said, it's probably not my most expensive or valued Jordan patch auto, but this one just does it for me. First time I ever saw this card, I was like, I had to have it. I bought it off a guy on Blowout several years back, and it's one of the best purchases on Blowout I ever made. And then, just so we remember,
You guys are just purposely not showing LeBron cards. I get it.
I actually don't have much LeBron left, to be honest. I have the Ultimate and a few Exquisite autos, but I don't really have much of LeBron left.
All right, Gerald, I see you rummaging. Let's see some stuff.
Everybody put their cards away. It's over.
Game's
Well, I
over.
wanted to touch back. You asked about Exquisite, and it always went back to also busting cases back in the day. They were $1,200, $1,500 a case, and that rush of going for MJ auto, Bron auto, Kobe auto, there's nothing like it. So let's see. We'll go with probably one of my favorite Exquisites I own. The 0910.
Fuck.
A little all-star patch in there. BGS Niner. You said Bron, so we'll go with a little rookie Jordan and Bron.
What's your best card?
Another one of my favorites. UD Black with the finals floor piece, I believe, yeah. From the Bulls Stadium. Not many people know that. I think it's just a regular floor card, but it's actually a finals piece. We'll make Neat and Jewel.
Fuck you.
God.
Everyone's drooling, man.
Game use piece. I'm gonna have to go with my man right here. A little N action. 6 of 6. And then 0405. Premium patch. I'm grading myself. We'll go with that guy.
Wow.
What?
We'll
You created that yourself?
Well, I bought it. Bought it as a regular gold label and got the bump, so I can't take full credit. I got the bump to the black label. And get a little pop one. All right, and that's enough. I don't want to take over the show.
Can I show my two cards? I have two Jordans. I have two now. I used to have one, but now I have two. You ready?
Whatever you need.
All right, so my first one is the Rubies, 97, 98.
Love that
Picked
card.
this one up like 2 months ago now. And it's number
to 50.
50, yeah.
Yep.
This one is sick. And I just bought this. Nobody knows I have it, but I'm announcing it here. I don't even think any of you guys have this card. I don't have it yet. It's on the way.
Ooh.
Wow.
Number to 23. Got a BGS 8. I just got it graded. I bought it raw.
Nice.
Very nice.
Not
So
bad for a penny collector.
Not bad, right? Is this what do people think about this card? I'm not trying to like pump it or anything. I just don't know.
It's a copy of an iconic initial Exquisite set, you know.
Is it kind of like an afterthought with it being, kind of a reprint, or is it still like as sought after?
I mean,
Sought after because it's a copy of the initial year, and it's actually from the last year of Exquisite. So that's why people like it a lot.
Yeah, last year Exquisite really jumped quite a bit.
I don't think it was last year. I think the prices really took off in 2017. Everything last year kind of, as far as autos go, kind of stabilized. None of them really
I
lost
meant the
value.
last season or the last year, 2009 Exquisite has jumped a lot. Not in the last year, but the last year they made Exquisite. That particular year, it just sells better than most of the rest of the years except 2003, right?
I wouldn't say that. A lot of 0405 cards are going for quite a bit. I mean, just look at that limited
Well, a
logo
lot of the
Jordan.
0910 are straight copies of the 0304 is the other reason of that too, you know.
Mhm.
Not
The auto
just the
patch out of
0304s.
50,
I mean,
number pieces.
they actually, you know, took their best designs from all the prior years and kind of was like, hey, let's use these. Like, for example, the 0910 limited logos are the 0607 design. And I quite honestly think that was one of the better designs for limited logo. I obviously the 0304 are more iconic first year, this and that, but as far as look wise, I would say 0405 limited logos is probably the best limited logo there is.
Yeah, people really like 0405. When I was at National, everyone was talking about that.
Like the shiny foil on the limited logos.
Yeah, shiny refractor look.
Yeah.
Nice
But
combination.
the 0910 Exquisite, they pretty much, when they were losing their license, so there was a scramble to get the product out before their license was up. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason they just copied the other designs and took the other designs.
Yeah, I'm sure without a doubt they weren't going to put in any more money on
Yeah, it was a rush
design
job.
and production. It was more of a let's get all this shit out so we can maximize our inventory before we lose our license.
Rodman, what do you think about all this patch stuff? I know you're the insert guy, and it sounds like you're getting into parallels, but you still like some of this stuff, right?
Yes, yeah, I do. I regret not getting into it earlier because I was basically focused on my inserts. But I definitely like it. I think to me, it doesn't have like an emotional connection with those cards because I wasn't collecting when those came out, and I think that's what basically doesn't make me get into it, right? I'm more. I mean, I also think that this is something that has to be important. Is it the thing that you have to enjoy cards? I mean, I enjoy a $20 card as much as I do as a 1K card or a 5K card. I mean, it's just what does it for me, right? So I remember when I pulled this card when I was a kid. It brought me a lot of joy. I mean, just it's just the thing of what I like about the hobby, right? It's not always about investment. It's not always about the money. I mean, it's obviously it's nice to know that your cards are gaining value. I mean, and but to me, it's more about just enjoying a piece of cardboard, and uh, that's it for me. I mean, I have a couple of autos as well. I still have to get an exquisite, but to me, this is like my favorite auto. Thinking it's in an iconic set. Nice action shot, and well, I got one dual from MJ with MJ. I try to get like an auto with the Bulls uni, an auto for his North Carolina college times, his time in Wizards as well. Got another one right here. So my collecting is very diverse. I mean, I love base cards. I have a ton of base cards. I have a lot of inserts. I got autos, and I just really enjoy this. I wanted to show this as well because since we were talking about inserts, how this is like the insert, right? Like what I was saying earlier, flashy, crazy designs, and that's what basically the 90s is all about, right? So yeah.
Gary, why don't you talk about, you've referenced it a couple times, but just kind of like your, passion for the hobby and like enjoying all cards and not just the high end stuff. Cause especially in a room of guys like this, it can really trend towards money and investment. So what do you think about kind of what Rodman's talking about with just how you kind of fall back to like your passion for it?
So I want to show a few. I really like. I mean, obviously your pack pulled cards are going to be the most popular stuff, but I like a lot of stuff that people don't know about. Probably really do want. I'm going to show a few here. This is Chaos in the Windy City from his Super Nintendo game that he had. It was in a Nintendo magazine back in the day. I absolutely love that card. It's perforated. This is a Star Zone out of 500. It was a giveaway during one of the All-Star games, I believe. This is the Poles Mini, which was actually in a vending machine. You could get one of these cards for 50 cents back in the day at Toys R Us. The Holo Jam here is a Walmart exclusive from like '97. Hardly ever see these. Again, it was super inexpensive. You could actually see which card you got in the front of the box because you got the Holo Jam card free, but you had like 5 packs of cards that were behind it. This members only here is the gold stamp. This was a mistake. They weren't supposed to release these into the packs, so super, super limited. This is the Special Forces foil. These I don't think were ever supposed to be made. I think it was a backdoor copies. They don't have the parallel lines that run through the card like the pack pulled versions do. And then this is I actually bought this myself way back when. It was a hanger at Walmart. And it's a lenticular card of his last shot. And I didn't think that it was worth much. I think I paid $10 for it. And gem copies have been selling for like $500, which confuses me, but apparently there's a market for that. But yeah, I like to get a lot of the oddball cards, stuff that people don't really know about very much. You don't see very often. Not necessarily the highest value, but stuff that you don't come across it unless you're really digging for it. You've probably seen a lot of these and just scrolled past them, not thinking that they were very rare or anything. But yeah, all these cards that I just showed, in my opinion, are rarer than what people know and rarer than their value as well. Except for the one with the last shot. This one has all kinds of value, and I don't know why, but I like it. And then they have a jumbo version of this as well that I just sent off for grading. I actually should get my BGS results back tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I love the oddball stuff. I like accidentally put together the most diverse group of Jordan collectors somehow. We have like inserts, oddball stuff, exquisite autos.
chance. Between us, we should have everything covered for sure.
I think we do. Neaton, can you answer the question about the Panini stuff that's been going on in the chat?
I think it's irrelevant if Panini somehow obtains the license to produce Jordan cards or even Jordan autos, for example. I, for one, find Panini cards lack in creativity. It's like the same product year in, year out. They change a little bit of foil stamp on it and throw it out the next year. It's not like back in the late 90s where Finest, for example, came out with their product every year. It was completely different the very next year. Obviously, it had the same, gloss, refraction, and all that, but the design of the card was completely different. It made it unique to where you wanted to collect each and different type of, Jordan or Kobe or whoever it is that you collected. Just because you knew that the next year they're not going to print something the same as they did the prior year. But you can't say that for Panini. I mean, just look at Prism. It's ridiculous that people are even paying the prices they are on that stuff. I mean, I would assume that it is more produced than the 86 Fleer set. I mean, it's by the mass. There's no creativity to it, and I'm sure next year won't be any different with really same design and crappy inserts.
Gerald, would it bother you if Jordan started signing with Panini somehow?
I mean, it wouldn't bother me. It was just, I would think it would drive down some of the prices, but like the rare, unique UD stuff, just I look at it would be like with Kobe stuff. It'll be saturated again, but the rarer, nicer, older UD stuff will still bring a premium, 100%. But in my opinion, I doubt there'll ever be another Jordan Bulls auto made.
Why?
Just because, I mean, Jordan's with Upper Deck. He has a part of the ownership, in my opinion. I think that's what I heard before. Yep. And for him to sign, it's I just don't see it happening, right? Like he's not even signing UNC stuff right now. From what I heard, the last year or two, he hasn't signed any of that stuff. So, and Panini, the sports cards, that's not even their main moneymaker. They make more money with Magic cards than sports cards. Sports cards is an afterthought. So to them, they probably not even thinking about even going after the license or going for Upper Deck.
Yeah, I think MJ is too smart to know just to jump in and take that cash. Like he can make money elsewhere, and he needs to protect his own value and autograph.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they'd have to pay him a stupid amount of money to make it worth his time, right?
Exactly.
Well, he closed down his camp, which was the only way that anybody was getting any more autos. I don't even know if he signs any autos unless it's specifically an Upper Deck authenticated item that they sell directly on the Upper Deck website, and that's just going to be memorabilia. They tried to bring in those the memorabilia cards that were made out of wood.
Cards, yeah.
Those kind of flopped. I didn't really like them. BGS won't grade it, which really pissed me off, to be honest. I would have gotten into them if BGS would have graded them. I like jumbos if they're slabbed, because I like to display my cards if I can, and I think jumbo cards look nice on display. But a jumbo card that I can't slab, it's hard to store. It's hard to keep it from damage. So with those being memorabilia, I think they kind of flopped. And then with him canceling his flight camp school, that was where a lot of people were getting autos from, and it was dirt cheap. Was it $800, and you could send your kid for a few days and get an autograph? I mean, you made money sending your kid to these camps if you sold that auto. It was just, I wish I would have got in on that. I don't have any kids, so I don't have no one to send. Wish that he would do this for adults. I know that back in the day he used to do an adult camp, and it was, I seen videos of it on YouTube. It was pretty cool. You could actually play one-on-one against him, and I'm sure it costs a lot more money than the kids camp did. Man, but if he could probably charge anything he wants, and I think he could build camps. So it sucks that that he canceled the flight school, but I don't know. I don't see any way to get Jordan autos anymore.
All good things must come to an end, as they say.
I hate it.
Some people in this room like it, some hate it. Rodman, why don't you talk about, you have some Panini stuff, right? It seems like there's a little bit of a break in who likes Panini and who doesn't. Don't you have some Panini stuff?
Yeah, I do. I collect 50 greatest autos. So I got into that. In time, I derailed into other players. I used to collect heavily on Kevin Love. But his prices went down since he joined Cleveland, because obviously he wasn't the main guy. And other than that, I mean, I've mostly autos. I mean, I was in basically coming back into collecting when Flawless came in. I have a lot of autos, especially Emerald Parallels. I really love those. What I think regarding to the license, like Gerald said, I don't think we're gonna see Panini getting MJ autos anytime soon. In a way, if they eventually do, I don't think it will affect heavily on the rare stuff, because those are in collections that are, and then they're not in the open market. So the only thing that could drive the price down is if people start selling, and if obviously the demand is not there and the offering is higher, that could obviously make prices go down. But I mean, most of the nice rare stuff in hands of collectors that are not looking to sell. So I don't think that it will eventually affect the price. And other than that, MJ Autos is not rare. I mean, I think he's one of the athletes that has signed the most, other than Kobe. And but the market is big and strong for those autos, and obviously that drives the price up.
And everybody keeps asking about underrated insert set. Why don't you give us the answer, Rodman?
Underrated. Well,
yep.
We have a group. We chat daily and we keep track of the market. I could say that the market is I would say very bullish. You could see that across the board. I mean, you see price jumps for cards that used to sell, like we were discussing before we went live. Cards that used to sell for $20 or $8 are selling now for 30, 40. So I mean, you're seeing gains across the board, and I think new collectors coming in has a lot to do with that. Obviously, where do you start? You start off with the base cards and cheap stuff, and you just basically get into these other inserts and higher end stuff. So I think the market is in a good place. Like Gary said, there's like a gap between people that are getting into a nice financial position and are getting back to the hobby and have this disposable income to put into this hobby. And obviously they got money to spend, and when they want a card, most of us end up overpaying. And if you look at it on the long run, you overpay today, but maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, you're gonna see like, well, that was cheap compared to where the prices are now. So I think the market is in a good place. Like you said, is there anything undervalued? I don't think there's such thing like that because there's no steals to be get done on eBay. I mean,
Too many eyes on the market.
everyone's searching eBay on a daily basis. Everyone's looking out for steals, and obviously, when there's a lot of demand, prices are automatically going to go up.
Yep.
Can I chime in here?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So this is one of my favorite things about the hobby is finding the cards that haven't jumped yet. Absolute favorite. 1999 SPX. The inserts from that set have been selling for the last 10 years, 20 years for literally 5, 10, 15 bucks. And they're the most gorgeous, well-designed, beautiful insert cards that you can almost get. Every one of them has almost an atomic refractor type of 3D appearance to it. And some of these cards were book value like $6, $10. So I've been telling people for the last 2 years, if you're just getting into it, you're looking for something to pick up cheap that's great and has a good potential for an upside later, those cards were something to jump on. And since I've been telling people that for the last couple of years, I've seen the prices on Prolifics, Masters, SP Extreme, all of those have tripled in the last couple of years. I mean, I bought so many copies of these cards for 15, 20 bucks, graded them and sold them for 200 bucks in order to fund new cards. And I think that that same set has still a big upside potential. They're now selling for probably 30, 40, 50 bucks raw, depending on the card. But I absolutely love finding the cards that for some god-awful reason just haven't exploded yet. And I think most of them can be found just strictly by design. People that are just coming into the market, they don't know much, but they know what they like. They know what their appearance preferences are. So all the foil cards that are pretty cheap, like Special Forces. I mean, I picked up 4 copies of Special Forces last year at Nationals for $15 a piece. And they've probably tripled since then, selling for 40, 50 bucks. Anything that's like that, like the Super Boss, absolutely gorgeous card. It's, you know, for the longest time, it sold for 20, 30 bucks. Now it's 60, 80 bucks. And there's a lot of those. And I think really the best way to do that is anything that is shiny, anything that is die cut, anything that is foil, anything that is refractor. Just try to pay attention to how it's been priced for the last few years. And if it hasn't moved much in these last 2 or 3 years, in my opinion, it's going to. I mean, you're even starting to see it with a lot of the base cards. The Topps Chrome base cards, the finest base cards are increasing. And I think that that's a lot of people just base what they want to buy a lot of times on appearance, and you're getting cards that are not rare cards selling for quite a bit of money now, just because the design on it was really well made. There's even God, what is it? Electrifying, that subset card from Fleer. It's got lightning and all the background. It's like a green card. It was like $1, but now it's like a $6 to $8 card. And if you grade it and it's a 10, it's like $150 card. Just anything that has lightning in it, people love. That's the Scoring Kings. Obviously, we've seen that's no rarer than Power in the Key. They came from the exact same set, the exact same pool odds, 1 in 36 packs. But people love the appearance of that lightning, and it's just jumped in value like crazy. So I think that you don't always have to consider the rarity of a card, but the appearance of the cards and how just the general population views it. And that's how I try to beat the market and be ahead of of the game as far as before prices jump on specific cards.
And you got to remember, all these cards are now getting to the fact that they're 20, 30 years old, and they're very sensitive in condition. So even if you're not able to land like a PMG or a Rubies or anything of that nature, but find yourself with a power and a key that can possibly, grade gem, that's $1,000 card. If you didn't realize that, yeah, it's that difficult to get a power and a key to gem. But
Easier
I
with
think
PSA than BGS.
yes, I agree. Um, uh, I think one of the cards as a high-end card that still has a lot of room to grow and hasn't really taken that big of a jump compared to other cards similar are the legacies. And I love them. I am a huge fan of Flair Legacy, and especially the 96-97 row 0, the 97-98 row 1 and row 0, or like those three cards are beautiful in hand. And they have yet to take that big jump. Look at Rodman looking for his 97-98. Yeah, that's all that. But yeah, I think that's a set that hasn't really taken off yet, and they're amazing in hand.
Thanks for the hype.
BGS 10. Yeah, Gerald, put that shit away.
Is that Durant? What are you doing here?
That wasn't Durant. That was a limited logo Jordan.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Put it up again, dude. Oh, okay. Wow.
Gerald, show that shit again.
You have to say something, Gerald. Come on, man.
Gerald, are you going to be at National?
I had no insert to show, so I had to show off something.
Gerald, you got a table at Nationals this year?
I usually always end up with one. I don't have one yet, but I should.
I'll be there.
Find space somewhere. If not, I'll be in the parking lot.
Is everyone here going to National?
Yeah.
I am.
You guys booked your hotels yet? They're like filling up quick.
I have
I
not.
sit at Gerald's house.
I get to roll out of bed.
Rodman National? Yep.
Yeah. It's a must.
Sweet.
Yeah, Chicago's, in my opinion, is probably the best national. I haven't missed one in probably, at least 12 years. And Chicago, by far, is definitely, the most populated, the most vendors, just the most everything.
Last year was my first year. Or 2 years ago in Chicago was my first year.
It's going to be off the hook this year. All right, let's wrap. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be a huge turnout on as far as like the 90s basketball guys. There has been them by the mass in previous years, but I think now that we've like all kind of gotten together on different platforms, whether it be Blowout, Facebook groups, Instagram, or whatever, but a lot of new friendships have been made. So I think there's going to be a really good turnout for 90s basketball and older basketball in general.
Man, there's so much baseball and football at Nationals. It stresses me out. Hate it.
I'm liking what I'm hearing about the overseas coming over more, like Card Hobby and a couple more of those guys that should be showing up from what I'm hearing.
Nice. Yeah, we need more of that, more basketball. It's just going to keep getting more and more, hopefully, as the baseball guys weed out.
I don't think you could put an end to baseball. I mean, if pristine MJ is still around, yeah, I mean, like, he loves his basketball, but it's another thing for him in baseball. And like, I don't understand how people value baseball players and their cards. Like, you've gotten proven players that have won MVPs, have won titles, and still losing value as far as their cards. It just doesn't make sense to me.
But an 18-year-old that's going to be in the league in 3 years sells for double.
Exactly. That is so fucking crazy. Like, for example, like Chris Bryant. I mean, he didn't have a horrible year, but his cards derailed in value by 500%. Like, I wouldn't say 500, but 100%. His BC refractors as a gem were going for $1,200-1,300. Now one can be obtained for like 400 or 500 at most. And he won a chip. He won an MVP. He's probably a top 25 player right now in the league, and he lost value. I just don't understand that.
We see that with basketball too, though.
Especially in a large market. How? Who in basketball can you say?
Well, like Luka Doncic is more expensive than Russell Westbrook, who has an MVP and triple doubles. Like, there's always going to be that kind of stuff.
No, I understand the stats, but Russell Westbrook's not a winner.
Everybody just wait for Zion.
Westbrook is nice.
Hey, it was scary tonight for Mr. Zion, that's for sure.
So what about Tim Duncan? His stuff is cheap.
It has
boring.
Well, I mean,
Like
and
Kawhi.
The fact that he was never in the media. He's never in people's eyes as far as an icon, So yeah, his stuff kind of fell off the deep end, I should say. But like, at the same time, I haven't really seen like proven basketball players lose value like I have in football and baseball. Football, I get it. I mean, if you're not a quarterback, you're not expected to play in the league for more than 7-8 years. So,
with football, you also have the short careers, which makes it harder to establish a reputation. And then I feel like they switch teams more often. I mean, as soon as a player leaves a team, their values for their cards in the old team plummet. I mean, people just lose all interest. They don't want them. They only want the new team's cards. So every time you go team to team to team, your old cards, they just drop like flies.
Yeah, for sure. We're going pretty long, so let's wrap up with, let's go down the line. Everyone show off some more cards and just talk about Jordan cards that you love.
We haven't discussed about 86 Flair.
Okay, go ahead, Rodman. Go.
Well, I know it's a very overproduced card, but I think every MJ collector should at least have one. Doesn't matter the grade. Obviously, in my opinion, one of the most iconic rookie cards there is. I mean, of MJ, the GOAT. So I think every MJ collector should own one. I'm lucky to have mine.
You could send me one and I'll own it, but I'm not gonna buy it.
Sure, man. Why not?
I actually don't own one.
I can trade it for your 101. How about that?
I'll pass. No, that's crazy that you say that. And out of all the cards that I've ever owned and still do own, I've never owned a Fleer rookie. I had a BGS 9 star, but never a Fleer.
That's surprising.
I
You want
know.
more inserts?
I just never had the desire to get one once, like, they went from, like, a pop, 20, 30 card to a pop 1,000. And it's just like it not, and for the fact that there's so many fakes, reprints, trimmed, altered versions of that card. It just makes it really less desirable to own than it used to be.
The reason that I don't have one and I don't have the ambition for one was because of Nationals 2 years ago. That was the most common card to see at Nationals. There was a table who
500
had,
It still will be.
I think there was a table that had 30 or 40 copies.
You talk about
30
Adam's
or
table.
40
Yeah,
copies on one table. I'm sorry, but that at a point in time when I see 12 different tables with 10 or more Jordan rookies, it makes me feel like I don't care for it as much anymore. I actually sold my only one that I've ever owned after Nationals because of that.
Gerald, you're thumbing through some stuff. Just start showing cards, man.
Kobe,
Um,
to answer your question, Josh.
What? What was my question?
Someone named me a rookie whose prices went up second year, not named LeBron.
Well, I meant like one that came out of the gates like hot, like these guys are talking about. Kobe like sat on the bench most of his rookie year. He didn't come out hot.
No, I mean he didn't, but that second year, like, he overtook Iverson as far as value or a player being sought after. I remember, so I collected 3 players back in the 90s. It was Jordan, and then when Kobe and Stephon Marbury hit the scene, those were my 2 other guys. And,
I was a big Marbury fan.
yeah, like Starberry was my dude. Anvilin, come on now. But yeah, like I I have never been able to justify spending thousands of dollars on a unproven player, whether there be potential that he's the next this and that. It's still based off potential, and it's there's nothing given in this world, and for me to put that type of money out on somebody hoping that he ultimately reaches this threshold where only top 1% of players make, this doesn't make sense.
Gerald, cards, go.
well, I pulled out a couple old favorites, and I got a new favorite that I haven't shown many people yet. I will start with a couple old ones. This is one of my favorite designs, I think. It's number 23, Jersey Auto. That's from 0405 SP Game Use. This one's enshrinement 0809, but the numbering's pretty good there. 23 of 23. This one got the 23 of 23 as well. Numbers piece.
Wow.
This is the lowest graded auto I got, but it's definitely one of my favorites as well. Number 23.
The low grade stuff doesn't bother me anymore.
That's my favorite auto you've shown so far.
I'm big on the auto, so the grade really don't matter to me. If the auto's bold and blue and I really want it,
I just love that card.
Yeah.
The base version.
Is that card numbered?
Yeah, that's numbered to 23, hand numbered.
Yeah, he stole the dude's soul that he got that card from.
Old school chronology auto gold number 10. And now here's the one that I got recently in a big trade I did. 0809 Noble nameplates, number to 18. I gave up a kidney and some cards for this one. But yeah,
but aren't you happy you did? I told
yeah,
you.
I'm
Who was it that you got to buy a kidney? Because I got one for sale.
Next deal, I'll hit you up. I might need another one.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, Pop 1, PSA 10.
I got this one lying around. Pop 1.
Pop 1. I'm not trying to steal the show. That's it. Oh, and then talking about Panini and the sets. Like, well, this is probably my favorite Panini set. If LeBron and Jordan had an auto in this set, this would be probably great. The All-Star. Whoop, there goes that one. All-Star lineage. Number to the All-Star appearances.
I'll pray for that card.
Oh, it's good. It's good. It ain't going nowhere. It's part of the set. I got a majority of the set.
Anyone else got some stuff to show?
I got a couple.
Let's go.
So I picked up this exclamation points 9.5 at Nationals. That was my one pickup. I've always loved that card. This is both cards in one. I don't know where these came from, but it's not cut. The back is still the same. Ignore the BGS refusing to grade it. That kind of upset me, but because I seen 2 of these graded already, so I sent mine in, and they won't grade it. So I'm gonna send it back. The Super Teams card. It is crazy rare. It looks like a base card, but it's worth like $150 because it was a redemption, and almost every single one of them got redeemed. So it's something I've only seen 1 or 2 of in the last few years. And then I've got a few of my favorite low pops that I graded myself. The UD3 Spotlight is a population 1. The Fleer Zone is a population 2. And the 99 SPX Winning Materials is a pop 2. I just really like to find the cards that have been graded a bunch of times, but people just can't seem to gem it for whatever reason. That's my favorite thing. I want to gem a Vortex. Probably as bad as anything in this world. I don't think there'll ever be a BGS gem Vortex because of the back edges, but I'll look for the rest of my life until I find one.
You know what? I never thought there was going to be a gem fusion,
Agreed.
Jordan, but some dude just got his to bump from a 9 to a 9.5. And I thought I would never see that card as a gem because I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of it, and they all have the same identical edge issues, whether it be on the left side where the foil is or on the back side where the die cut is. It's inevitable. So how this dude found such a clean one and got it to gem is amazing, and the fact that it'll take another 1,000 tries for somebody else to gem that card is just mind-boggling.
All right, show
It's nice, Jordan.
Show those cards, Neaton. Let's see them.
This one?
Just the ones you were showing before too.
Gotta talk at the same
Get that
time.
junk out of here.
Yeah, I showed this one. This one's awesome. This is a Pop 5 card. I haven't seen one with 3 colors like this. Nice blue auto. Gem, did I say? You know, something that belongs to Gerald for a nice epic piece.
I don't know about that one.
So funny thing about this card, this limited logo, I bought it for quite a bit of money at National 3 years ago.
He says quite a bit of money. So what was that price 3 years ago, buddy?
$10K. I bought it for $10K at
Steal.
National.
Freaking steal, man.
I bought it for $10K at
Give
National.
me 3 of them.
Within 2 hours, some dude walked up to me and said he'll buy it for $16,000. I would have basically, made $6,000 from 2 hours of nothing, but but I couldn't do it. And I'm glad I didn't, because it's appreciated more. But it's just something like that card at that time was one that I went to Nationals specifically for, because I knew it was going to be there and I had to cough up the money for it.
Yeah, that's when I sold. Had my great idea to sell 0304 limited logos for 30,000.
Right?
9.5.
This
Highest
is what
sale
happens
at the
when
point,
you own
at
like
the
2 or
time.
3 of the same card.
Yep. Rodman, got some cards? Here, I know you're waiting. You have to say something, dude.
Yeah, I forgot that. So more inserts. I got more inserts right here.
I like that one.
Pinchments. Love this one. Dunkin' Go Nuts. Takeit.net. BMOC. Ultra Stars. Galaxy. Slam Cam. Titanium. Premium 3Ds. I got more, but that's it for now.
I love Slam Cam. That's one of my favorites.
For sure.
Yeah, it's really nice. Really.
Definitely.
Yep.
You got all the inserts, dude.
I wish I had.
Does anyone think that the inserts from the Metal Universe sets are going to go up in value because of the cost of a box being over $1,000 or whatever the hell they are, with the price of the PMG bringing the base card up and the red up? Do you think that the inserts that you can pull from them packs will also rise?
I think if your name is Jordan, Kobe, yeah. But as far as the other star players or rookies or whatever, I don't really think that's gonna drive their prices, because remember, at the same time, what's driving the prices for these cards is not the product, it's the player.
Well, I am specifically talking Jordan, like the hardware.
Yeah, that's a awesome card, and like it's a really underappreciated card, because you can't really pick up the foil on it by just taking. Yeah, see, like for example, you can't really pick up that foil on it until you actually see it in hand. Like Playmaker's Theater, that's a beautiful card, and if you haven't never seen one of those in person, I mean, it's gorgeous. Like the way it refracts on the front and back of the card.
I'm looking to get one, so if someone's watching and got one, wants to move it, hit me up. I got that one on
Playmaker's Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough land.
Because then you had all the uncut sheet ones too. You gotta be careful with those.
The nice thing about those, they're not embossed and they're not numbered. So
numbered.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. This was great. I'm going to put all your guys' handles and ways to find you guys in the description. This video will be up on my channel after this. This has been crazy. Awesome Jordan cards. Great Jordan discussion. Thanks to all you guys for joining. Thanks for everyone in the comments adding their feedback, and we'll do another one of these soon. Thanks, guys, for joining again.
For sure.
Right.
Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate you for having us. Take it easy.
See you guys later. See you at National.
Later, man.
Yes, sir.